بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. Behind me is the Tigris River, one of the two great rivers that have historically defined ancient Mesopotamia. And because of its age and location, Dijla, as it's known in Iraq, this river has been a living witness to unspeakable atrocities. It has seen things that put humanity to shame. It has witnessed crimes and massacres, the likes of which are impossible to find anywhere else. Bear with me for a few moments as I take you down a journey through some of the highlights that the Tigris River has seen and has witnessed throughout history. It is said that in the fall of Baghdad, at the end of the Abbasid dynasty, this river saw the Mongol army come, and one of the things that they did was that they took hundreds of thousands of manuscripts and books that were handwritten, that were held in the libraries of grand scholars like Sheikh al-Tusi, known as Sheikh al-Ta'ifa, the person after whom the Shia are attributed. They took all of these books, they threw them in the river, turning its pale blue color into dark black from all of the ink. And part of the reason they did that was, historians say, they wanted to create these bridges for their horses and their armies. So they used books to build bridges. But that wasn't all they did. They also began to massacre people en masse. And so the color of the waters turned from dark black to red from all of the blood that was shed in it. And this is only one snapshot, one of the incidents that the Tigris witnessed. Then you come to more recent times. In 2005, during the pilgrimage to the shrine of Imam al-Kadhim alayhi salatu wassalam, the stampede that occurred on what's called Jisr al-A'imma, the bridge that connects one part of Baghdad to Kadhimiyya, 1,000 people died during a terrorist incident when there were fears that an attack was imminent or that someone was there to try and blow themselves up. The stampede occurred and 1,000 people drowned right here in this river. Then you come to 2014 and what's known as the Spiker Massacre. 1,700 young Shia army cadets were slaughtered by hand by ISIS and their agents, and then their bodies were thrown inside the Tigris, and their blood was shed in these waters right here. 1,700 young lives snapped and snatched and taken away forever. 1,700 grieving families. But perhaps the biggest and most tragic incident that the Tigris has witnessed is something that is being commemorated in these next few days. In a week's time, the people of Baghdad will be commemorating the martyrdom of Imam Musa ibn Ja'far al-Kadhim alayhi salatu wassalam. This commemoration is the biggest annual event in the Iraqi capital, Baghdad. Over 7 million people flock from all across the country to Baghdad in order to participate in this great pilgrimage. We all know about the Arba'een pilgrimage. It's been turned into an international event. There's hardly anyone who doesn't know about it. But this commemoration is something that also needs to be turned into an internationally recognized event. 7 million people is a massive number. This is bigger than any Olympics event. This is bigger than Hajj by multiple factors. It's bigger than anything else out there, save the Arba'een. 7 million people come here in order to commemorate on the 25th of Rajab, to commemorate the martyrdom of Imam al-Kadhim Musa ibn Ja'far alayhi salam. Why the Tigris River and the connection there? Because after they brought the sacred and oppressed and martyred body and battered body of Imam al-Kadhim alayhi salam from imprisonment, they took his body and put it on Jisr al-Rasafa, which is one of the bridges across the Tigris River. They put that body there, and then they called people to come so that they would take him away in a humiliating display, trying to present Imam al-Kadhim alayhi salam as someone who doesn't have any admirers or a tribe or a family or anything like that. وَالْجَنَازَةُ الْمُنَادَى عَلَيْهَا بِذُلِّ الْإِسْتِخْفَافِ. They brought out the body of the Imam being carried by 4 porters instead of his family, instead of his devotees, instead of his admirers, instead of his followers. Next week, the commemoration will take place. And what a big difference time has made. 1300 years ago or so, the body of our master, our Imam al-Kadhim, was brought out all alone, and now 7 million people flock to this place so as to commemorate this tragedy, to honor Imam Musa ibn Ja'far alayhi salam, who is called the Lion of Baghdad by the locals here. He is the savior of this city. He's the refuge in the darkest of times, in the most difficult hours of Baghdad and the Tigris River. Imam al-Kadhim alayhi salam was the refuge. Imam al-Kadhim alayhi salam was the person, was the shrine, was the individual that people flock to in order to seek safety and to seek refuge from all of these very difficult times in the history of the city. May Allah grant us all His visitation and bring us so that we could also honor Him and visit His shrine and be blessed by being in close proximity to Him, inshaAllah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.